Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to the Kyoto Botanical Gardens. I'm sitting here under a beautiful gazebo on a cool spring evening, and I'm reflecting on a rough couple days that I've had, sort of transitioning back into work mode after a wonderful, relaxing, and also somewhat productive holiday. But I'm just thinking about how to sort of move forward from here, and I'm thinking back about how I feel, and I'm trying to make sure that I scrape all the pieces of value that I can from that. So just to give you some context, I just returned back to my job after a little bit of a holiday, but straight after the holiday I had a series of back-to-back presentations and deadlines, and a lot of people relying on me to make sure that things are available for them, that communication is very clear, and that everything is organized so that other people can do their job properly. And I've just gone through those 4 days trying to make sure that everyone is equipped with everything that they need to feel like they are capable. And it's been hard. I've been working very early mornings. I'm an early riser, so instead of working late hours, I tend to wake up really early and work. But it's also just been a lot of pressure and a lot of questions and a lot of problems to solve. And right now, as I talk to you, I have a bit of a headache, and I've been like forgetting people's names that I know very well, and just brain is absolutely squashed. Actually, the other day, I, for some reason, referred to one of my favorite book series, Harry Potter, as Harry the Potter, which somehow seemed to roll off my tongue so perfectly and naturally, and it got a laugh out of the room. So it's definitely, my brain is fairly fried right now. Anyway, the thing that I wanted to talk about was, and what I was reflecting on is, obviously, pressure and stress is relative. The pressure that I'm feeling right now, although it's real emotionally in my body, I can feel it. Different people experience stress in different ways and to different degrees. I think that actually our experience of stress is perhaps a function of our experience, number one, and perhaps our knowledge as well, and maybe our skill set, and perhaps our network as well. If you have a strong support network, it can help you. But also, I want to focus on that first one, the experience, because this is how I'm sort of putting a positive spin on the last 4 days. Don't get me wrong, the last 4 days went very well, and I'm happy with how I performed and how everything went. But also right now I'm fairly tired, and I'm trying to just kind of congratulate myself for getting it through. And the way that I'm doing that is through acknowledging that I now have some more experience. And that means that this experience that I've gained from struggling over the last 4 days is going to mean the next time that I go through something similar, I will be able to handle this stress in a much better way. And so I think this is a philosophy or a way of thinking that might be very useful to others. It's very difficult, don't get me wrong. It takes a lot of effort and training to be able to do that, and I by no means do it every single time. But I'm lucky that this time, upon reflection, I was able to just remind myself that, you know what, these things are stressful for me right now, but in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, after I've had a much more experience and I've had much more knowledge and much more skills that's been added to my repertoire, these things would potentially not stress me out as much. And as well, I think back to 5 years ago and imagine me going through what I've gone through in the last 4 days, and there's no ways. It's absolutely insane. I would have never thought that I would have done the things that I've done over the last 4 days 5 years ago. And so just acknowledging that growth really makes this feel a lot better in my mind. And so I think, again, I want to acknowledge that it's really hard to think this way, but I also really value the idea that it's not like you can just flick a switch and you will be able to think like this every single time you feel overwhelmed or you feel stressed or you feel pressured. It takes so much time and it takes so much repetition to be able to train your brain to remember that these tough experiences are making you more resilient. These tough experiences are making you more capable. And the next time you go through something like this, it's going to be easier. And so I think some things that might help you to train your brain to do this, and I think it's worth making this challenge or making this decision to learn this skill, this mental skill, because it really helps in times like this, and we all have these kinds of times. Firstly is to just make the decision to try to train your mind to go down these different pathways rather than going to, oh, I'm so stressed and oh, I'm so overwhelmed and nobody's helping me and all of that, going towards, oh, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting better. Next time that something like this comes along, I will be able to handle it, and I'll be able to handle it even better than now. And I know it's easier said than done, but thinking that makes a big difference in the entire experience. And so I think something that would help is maybe taking some time away from the stress. I know that even today, I felt fairly snowed under by problems and queries and things that people were wanting from me. And I just took a moment to step back, and I took a moment to breathe. And I took a moment to just remove myself from all of that, just for 1 second. And remind myself that the stresses that I'm feeling right now is not everything in existence. It isn't the most important thing in the world. It isn't all that matters in these moments. Because I think we forget our perspective in stressful moments like this. And so that's something that I recommend is, I mean, generically you might find it as just breathing practices. Oh, my phone just decided to take a moment for us because I ran out of battery right in that moment while I was recording, so apologies for that. But sometimes life forces us to just take a moment and reflect. It's just characteristic of one of those weeks, you know, when things like this just keep happening. But yeah, as I was saying before, I really think that this way of thinking is very difficult, and I have by no means mastered it, but I think it's really important for people to try. And one of the best ways to do it, as I said before, was through breathing exercises. Another way is just to put reminders around your space to help you to remember. So one thing that I have in my workspace at my job, it's super nerdy, but I'll let you in on the secret. I have a figurine of Goku, who is the protagonist of Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super. And it's a character that I find really inspiring. And the specific figurine that I have on my desk is one that is meant to remind me that I need to be calm and I need to be relaxed to be able to react to different situations in the most thoughtful and the most controlled way. And so that is an example of filling your environment with some things that remind you of why you're doing the thing that you're doing and the value that it brings and how you want to show up to those moments, because emotions are difficult. Emotions are valuable, but sometimes they lead us astray, and sometimes we need to be the ones keeping our emotions in check. And it doesn't just come naturally, we have to train ourselves. So I hope those tips and tricks kind of helped you. I hope you relate to some of the things that I've said. I hope you've enjoyed the beautiful scenery that you've seen so far. And yeah, please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining. See ya.